Hello, welcome friend. Welcome to our channel Quality Group. Our topic is HACCP Plan in Food Industry. HACCP, that is Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Point Plan, is a systematic preventive approach in food industry to identify, evaluate, and control biological, chemical, and physical hazard throughout the food chain to ensure product safety. It involves seven principles: conducting a hazard analysis, determining critical control point, that is CCP, establishing critical limits, setting up monitoring procedures, defining corrective action, implementing verification, and maintaining detailed record. This proactive system aims to prevent foodborne illness, ensure quality, comply with regulation, and protect both consumer and food business. The HACCP system originated in the year 1960 when the Pillsbury Company and the US Army partnered with National Aeronautics and Space Administration, that is NASA, to develop a preventive system for ensuring the microbiological safety of foods for space travel. This proactive approach moved away from end product testing to focus on identifying and controlling hazards throughout the food production process. This system was publicly introduced in 1971 and subsequently adopted in regulation by the FDA for low acid canned food in 1974. Major food companies began adopting HACCP in the year 1980s, and it later became a global standard for food safety with guidelines adopted by Codex Alimentarius Commission in 1993. Key milestone in the history of HACCP. In the year 1960, Pillsbury, in collaboration with NASA and the US Army, developed the HACCP concept to ensure safe, pathogen-free, and long-lasting food for aeronauts. In the year 1971, the HACCP concept was presented publicly as National Conference on Food Protection. In the year 1974, the US Food and Drug Administration, that is FDA, introduced HACCP principle into regulation for low acid canned food to prevent botulism. In the year 1980s, major food companies started adopting the HACCP approach for their own food safety system. In the year 1990s, HACCP global influences grew, with its principle being incorporated into international legislation. In the year 1993, the Codex Alimentarius Commission adopted guidelines for applying HACCP, further solidifying its role as a global standard. What a HACCP plan does: identify hazards, locate potential biological, chemical, or physical hazards that could make food unsafe, assesses risk, evaluate the likelihood and the severity of these hazards, control risk, establishes control measures to prevent, eliminate, or reduce hazard to an acceptable level, ensure compliance, help food business meet legal requirement and food industry standard, promote prevention, focuses on preventing problems before they reach consumer rather than reacting to them. The seven principles of HACCP. Principle 1: conduct a hazard analysis. Identify all potential food safety hazards at each step of the processes. Principle 2: determine critical control point, that is CCPs. Pinpoint the stages in the process where hazards can be prevented, eliminated, or reduced to an unacceptable level. Principle 3: establish critical limits. Set specific measurable criteria for each CCP to ensure food safety. Principle 4: establish monitoring procedure. Implement regular check at CCP to ensure that critical limits are met. Principle 4: establish corrective action. Develop procedures to be followed when a hazard is detected or a CCP fails to meet its limit. Principle 6: establish verification procedure. Implement steps to confirm that HACCP system is working effectively. Principle number 7: establish record keeping and documentation. Maintain thorough record of all steps, monitoring results, corrective actions, and verification. Why HACCP is important? Consumer protection. HACCP prevent foodborne illness and ensure safe, high-quality food for consumer. Business benefits. HACCP reduce product recalls, minimizes financial risk, and build consumer confidence. Legal and regulatory compliance. HACCP ensures adherence to food safety laws and standards, including those mandated by regulatory bodies like the FDA and the US FDA for certain sectors. Foundation for standard. HACCP serve as a basis for other internationally recognized food safety standard and certification. Implementation and maintenance of the HACCP plan. The successful implementation of HACCP plan is facilitated by commitment from top management. The next step is to establish a plan that describes the individual responsibility for developing, implementing, and maintaining the HACCP system. Initially, the HACCP coordinator and the team are selected and trained as necessary. An important aspect in developing these teams is to assure that they have appropriate training. Implementation of the HACCP system involves the continual application of the monitoring, record keeping, corrective action procedures, and other activity as described in the HACCP plan. An important aspect of maintaining the HACCP system is to assure that all individuals involved are properly trained so they understand their role and can effectively fulfill their responsibilities. Appendix of HACCP plan. Appendix A, common prerequisite HACCP program. Appendix B, process flow diagram. Appendix C, define or assemble a HACCP team. Appendix D, conduct hazard analysis and evaluation. Appendix E, critical control point decision tree. Appendix F, define corrective action. Appendix G, HACCP verification activity. Appendix H, HACCP verification record. Common prerequisite HACCP program. Appendix A, facility. The establishment should be located, constructed, and maintained according to sanitary design principle. There should be linear product flow and traffic control to minimize cross contamination from raw to finished product, raw material to finished product. Supplier control. Each facility should assure that its supplier have in place effective GMP and food safety program. They may be the subject of continuing supplier guarantee and supplier HACCP system verification specification. There should be written specification for all ingredient products and packaging material. Production equipment. All equipment should be constructed and installed according to sanitary design principle. Preventive maintenance and calibration schedule should be established and documented. Cleaning and sanitization. All procedures for cleaning and sanitization of the equipment and the facility should be written and followed. A master sanitation schedule should be in place. Personal hygiene. All employees and other persons who enter the manufacturing plant should follow the requirement for personal hygiene. Training. All employees should receive documented training in personal hygiene, GMP cleaning and sanitation procedure, personal safety, and their role in the HACCP program. Chemical control. Documented procedures must be in place to assure the segregation and the proper use of non-food chemicals in the plant. These include cleaning chemical fumigants and the pesticides or bats used in or around the plant, receiving, storage, and shipping. All raw material and products should be stored under sanitary conditions and the proper environmental conditions such as temperature and humidity to assure their safety and wholesomeness. Traceability and recall. All raw material and products should be lot coded and a recall system in place so that rapid and complete traces and recalls can be done when a product retrieval is necessary. Pest control. Effective pest control program should be in place. HACCP decision tree. Important consideration when using the decision tree. The decision tree is to use after the hazard analysis. The decision tree then is used at the step where a hazard that must be addressed in the HACCP plan has been identified. A subsequent step in the process may be more effective for controlling a hazard and may be the preferred CCP. More than one step in a process may be involved in controlling a hazard. More than one hazard may be controlled by a specific control measure. HACCP verification. Verification procedure may include establishment of appropriate verification schedules, review of the HACCP plan for completeness, confirmation of the accuracy of the flow diagram, review of the HACCP system to determine if the facility is operating according to the HACCP plan, review of CCP monitoring record, review of record for deviation and corrective action, validation of critical limits to confirm that they are adequate to control significant hazards, validation of HACCP plan including on-site review, review of modification of the HACCP plan, sampling and testing to verify CCPs. Verification should be conducted routinely or on an unannounced basis to assure CCPs are under control when there are emerging concerns about the safety of the product, when food have been implicated as a vehicle of foodborne disease, to confirm that changes have been implemented correctly. After a HACCP plan has been modified, to assess whether a HACCP plan should be modified due to change in process, equipment and ingredient, etc. Verification report may include information on the presence and adequacy of the HACCP plan and the person responsible for administering and updating the HACCP plan, the record associated with the CCP monitoring, direct recording of monitoring data of the CCP while in operation, certification that monitoring equipment is properly calibrated in working order, corrective action for deviation, sampling and testing method used to verify that CCPs are under control, modification to the HACCP plan, training and knowledge of the individual responsible for monitoring CCP, validation activity. HACCP records ingredient for which critical limits have been established. Supply certification record documenting compliance of an ingredient with the critical limits. Processor audit record verifying supplier compliance. Storage record, example time, temperature for when ingredient storage, that is storage is a CCP. Processing, storage and distribution record, information that establishes that efficacy of a CCP to maintain product safety. Data establishing the safe shelf life of the product, if age of the product can affect safety. Record indicating compliance with critical limits when packaging material, labeling or sealing specification are necessary for food safety. Monitoring record, verification record, deviation and corrective action record, employee training records that are pertinent to CCPs and HACCP plan. Documentation of the adequacy of the CCP plan from a knowledgeable HACCP expert. Thanks a lot, and keep watching our channel Quality Guru. Like, comment and subscribe please, more and more. Thank you.